My son wrote a book. It's a book of poetry. There is one poem here that is just like, man, this is why he was born. It's titled, I and My Muther, Wunn. Over on the dirty side of town, glimpsed between red flashes of don't walk and barely visible through the steam spewing off the street drains, leaned up against the neon sign of a pawn shop is a prostitute whose mother was a prostitute, whose grandmother was a prostitute, whose great-grandmother was a prostitute back as far as they can all recall. And she's wearing a hand-me-down wedding dress that fits her a little too well. And if you go down the right alleyways, you'll find her prayers stenciled into liquor shops like brick wall communiques. Up the ears of a still listening God go her graffiti apologies. Confessions so painful they can't be pretend. And they get more vulgar until you reach the alley's end, where they run out of room and start climbing up the wall, climbing up and up until they turn into steeples, the spray paint colors into stained glass windows, forming a sanctuary whose doors don't close. She strides inside and waits at the altar in white clothes. And who should reverse the customary process and approach as her groom? None but a ruler whose purple train fills the entire room. How backward to see this promiscuous harlot married to a king. But as she mouths her vows, they resound as forgiveness hymns she sings. In the pews made of cigarette butts and beer cans, every hard-backed row built by her own hands, sits a throng of witnesses, and all of them can see she doesn't deserve his graces. Their sense of justice so violated it can't be controlled, that their arms are crossed like origami waiting to unfold in objection to this unholy marriage as they ask themselves, who gave her the privilege? At this altar, she doesn't have a right to be, but, she says, he proposed to me. And wedding wine never tasted so good. Full forgiveness, flavored finer than it should. He leans down with a kiss on her brow. She tilts her weary head down and feels the weight of a holy crown. Etchings along the side read, child and bride, in you I abide. And with a whisper in her ear, he is repeating over and over, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And the congregation cheers and rises, but from the street outside the open doors of the shabby-made cathedral, a shout across the crowd breaks the joyous celebration, a man cursing as he swore, you can't hear the gospel from a whore. But in walked two daughters, and then in walked a son. And they place their hands on the man with a smile and say, I and my mother, Wunn. That's the gospel. Jesus cries out to a bride that doesn't deserve her. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Buy my son's book, Oh Sleepur. You can get it on Amazon. My shameless plug for the son of whom I am proud.